There are moments in life when the weight of the world sits heavy on your chest, when the silence in your room feels louder than the chaos in your mind, when everything you've prayed for, worked for, waited on seems delayed, distant, or denied. And in those moments, your faith is tested, not by thunder or fire, but by the quiet storms inside your soul. I want you to breathe with me for a second. Feel that pain, that ache in your heart? That's proof that you're still here, that you still care, that you're still alive and fighting. And I came to remind you today, you are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not finished. Even if life feels like it's falling apart, what if it's actually falling into place? What if every setback is a setup? What if every setback is a setup? What if every detour is divine? What if everything is actually working for you? I dare you today to act like it, walk like it, speak like it, move like it, act as if everything always works out for you. Because when your faith shows up, miracles do too. There's something you've got to understand deep down in your soul. Your life will never rise above the level of your beliefs. You can have talent, you can have potential, you can even have favor. But if your belief system is poisoned with doubt, fear, and limitation, you'll stay stuck in a cage with the door wide open. Too many people are walking around with invisible chains, not because life bound them, but because their minds convinced them they could never fly. You see, belief isn't just some fluffy idea. It's the engine behind every decision you make, every word you speak, every move you dare to take. And when you start believing, truly believing, that your life has purpose, that your struggle has meaning, that your future is waiting to be claimed, everything starts to change. Not outside first, but inside. That shift in your spirit, that quiet confidence, that unshakable faith, it becomes a magnet for miracles. When you believe that you were born for more, you start walking different, talking different, expecting different. Your belief is either building your prison or it's unlocking your destiny. And it's up to you to choose which one it's going to be. There are people out there who will tell you to be realistic, to stay safe, to not expect too much. And it's not always because they want to hurt you. It's often because they don't want to see you disappointed. But listen to me. Small minds will always try to shrink your vision. People who gave up on their own dreams will try to convince you to give up on yours. But that's not your path. That's not your portion. You have to learn how to separate their fears from your future. What they couldn't do has nothing to do with what God put inside of you. You were not made to live a life of hesitation, second guessing, or regret. You were made to rise. You were made to conquer. You were made to walk through doors that scare you, trusting that what's on the other side was tailor-made for your growth. But none of that happens if you don't first believe you belong. You don't wait until you see it to believe. You believe, and then you start to see it. That's how faith works. That's how belief transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary testimonies. Do you know how many people never step into their calling because they don't think they're worthy? Do you know how many dreams die quietly because someone thought, who am I to do this? The truth is, you become who you believe you are. If you believe you're a failure, your actions will follow that identity. If you believe you're not lovable, you'll sabotage relationships before they have a chance to grow. If you believe life is against you, you'll miss every opportunity that was meant to bless you. Belief shapes how you interpret the world, how you respond to pain, how you get up after the fall. But if you flip the script, if you start telling yourself, I am worthy, I am chosen, I am strong, I am here for a reason, something begins to unlock inside of you. Your brain rewires, your energy shifts. You stop chasing validation and start living from a place of divine assurance. You stop waiting to be picked and start building your own table. When you believe the best is ahead, you begin to move like it's already yours. That kind of belief moves mountains. And more importantly, it moves you. There's a battle going on every day, not around you, but within you. A war between who you were and who you're becoming. And the difference maker in that fight isn't talent, it's not money, it's not even luck. It's belief. Because belief fuels your choices, and your choices write the story of your life. That's why people with less talent but unshakable belief often outpace those who are more gifted but doubting. They show up, they stay consistent, they push through the fear, they make room for grace. They know that every setback is temporary because their belief is rooted in something deeper than circumstance. And listen, Your belief doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. Sometimes belief is just that quiet voice in your heart saying, I'll try again tomorrow. That whisper that says, keep going. That courage that says, even if I fail, I'm still worthy. You don't need everyone else to believe in you if you believe in yourself. That's the key. When your belief becomes your foundation, the storms can rage, but your house won't fall. You might get knocked down, but you'll never stay down. That's the power of belief. You were never meant to stay stuck in survival mode. You weren't created just to get by. There is something inside of you that was built for more, but it's waiting on you to believe it. See, when you change your belief, you change your posture. You stop approaching life timidly and start stepping boldly. You start taking up space, knowing you were made to be here. That job you're scared to apply for, that business idea you've been sitting on, that healing you've been afraid to seek, all of it is waiting on you to believe you deserve a life beyond limitation. And let me tell you something. You don't have to be perfect to start. You don't have to have it all together to take the first step. You just have to believe that progress is more important than perfection. That showing up scared is better than never showing up at all. The minute you start acting in alignment with the life you want, your world will begin to rearrange itself. Not because magic happens, but because you happen. You become the miracle, the shift, the storm breaker. It all begins with belief. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe you're worthy of. That's why some people keep repeating the same patterns, ending up in the same relationships, making the same mistakes, because they've never changed their belief about themselves. But when you do the inner work, when you heal, when you confront those lies, when you forgive yourself, you start elevating your belief system and everything begins to follow. Your standards rise, your boundaries strengthen, your vision gets clearer, and the people and opportunities that no longer match your belief level start to fall away. That's not loss. That's alignment. That's what belief does. It doesn't just give you courage, it gives you clarity. It teaches you what to say yes to and what to walk away from. It helps you see your value when the world tries to discount it. When your belief shifts, you stop begging for a seat at the table and realize you are the table. Your presence carries weight. Your purpose carries fire. You stop shrinking to fit in and start expanding to stand out. Because your belief, once awakened, cannot be unshaken. And I need you to hear this. The world doesn't need another copy of someone else. The world needs the fullest, boldest, truest version of you. And that version can only emerge when you start believing in who you are and who you're becoming. Belief isn't just about having confidence. It's about having conviction. It's about knowing that even in your brokenness, you are being built. Even in your waiting season, you are being prepared. Even in your wilderness, you are not lost. You are being refined. And when you truly believe that everything is working for your good, even the pain, even the delays, even the heartbreak, then life stops happening to you and starts happening through you. You become unstoppable, not because you have all the answers, but because you believe you were never created to live in fear. Every great destiny begins with the decision to believe differently. So stand tall, breathe deep, and carry yourself like everything is already aligning in your favor, because when your belief is strong, your reality begins to bend. Not someday, not next year, now. It starts now. Because you believe. You want to know why some people keep rising while others stay stuck? It's not always about talent. It's not about luck. It's about focus. Wherever your focus goes, your energy follows. If you wake up every day focused on what's missing, on who left you, on what's not working, guess what you're feeding? Pain, scarcity, regret. And the more you feed it, the bigger it grows. But if you shift that focus, even just slightly, and start seeing what you do have, what's still possible, what you're capable of, something starts to shift in your spirit. You get your energy back. You get your hope back. Most people don't realize how powerful their focus is. It's like sunlight through a magnifying glass. Scattered light does nothing. But when it's concentrated, it burns through steel. Your mind is no different. When you focus, really focus on your goals, on your healing, on your future, you ignite something in you that cannot be stopped. You don't need the whole world to believe in you. You just need to direct your focus like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. Every time you give your attention to drama, to distractions, to people who drain you, you're paying with your energy. Focus is a currency, And most people are bankrupt because they spend it on things that don't grow them. They wake up scrolling through nonsense, comparing their lives, drowning in noise, wondering why they feel so empty. It's because they've let their focus get hijacked. And when your focus is hijacked, your future is too. You can't build an empire while giving your attention to everything that tears you down. You've got to learn how to guard your focus like your destiny depends on it, because it does. When you start focusing on purpose instead of popularity, growth instead of gossip, character instead of comfort, your entire world begins to elevate. And it won't happen overnight. It takes discipline. It takes choices. But little by little, where your focus goes, your energy builds. And soon you've got momentum. And momentum is what separates those who dream from those who do. Don't waste another day focused on what doesn't serve your future. Redirect it, reclaim it, take it back. Let me tell you something. Your life is a mirror of your focus. If you keep focusing on the worst case scenario, don't be surprised when anxiety follows you like a shadow. If you keep replaying your past mistakes, don't be shocked when shame becomes your home. What you feed lives. What you starve dies. So if you want peace, focus on gratitude. If you want growth, focus on discipline. If you want love, focus on healing. The world will always offer you a million things to stress about, but you've got the power to choose what stays in your mind. That's not some motivational fluff. That's the truth. Because the same energy you used to overthink, you can use to rebuild. The same focus you gave to fear, you can redirect to faith. It's your choice. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control what you give your energy to. That's your power. That's your gift. That's your weapon. Stop fighting battles that aren't even yours. Pull that energy back and focus it on the mission God gave you. That's where your fire is. That's where your breakthrough begins. Do you know why some people never change? Because their focus never shifts. They talk about change. They dream about it. But they stay focused on their limits, on their wounds, on the reasons why they can't. And as long as that's what has their attention, that's where their energy stays, trapped in the past, locked in excuses. But you're different. You're here because you know deep down that your life is waiting on your focus to catch up with your calling, that version of you that you're craving to become. It's not hiding. It's just buried under all the things you've been focused on that don't reflect who you really are. When you start focusing on habits that elevate you, people that inspire you, routines that build you, your energy rises, your confidence returns, and everything you once thought was impossible starts to feel inevitable. Because your energy is no longer leaking into dead ends. It's moving with intention, with purpose, with force. And when energy moves with purpose, you become unstoppable. That's the kind of focus that rewrites legacies. Every goal you have, it's waiting on one thing: consistent focus. Not talent, not perfection, focus. Because what you consistently focus on becomes your standard. You want to level up? Then you've got to show up. Not just once, not just when it's convenient, every day. You've got to remind yourself that your dreams matter more than your distractions. That your purpose matters more than your temporary comfort. That's not easy, but it's necessary. You've got to become a master of redirection. When fear creeps in, redirect. When self-doubt whispers, redirect. When distractions knock, redirect. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aware of where your attention is going, aware of how your thoughts shape your choices. When you control your focus, you control your future. It doesn't mean you won't stumble. It means you'll get back up with clarity, with fire, with direction, because you know where you're going. And you know where you refuse to stay. And that power, that clarity, it begins and ends with your focus. You've got to make your focus sacred. You've got to protect it like your next level depends on it, because it does. That means turning down the noise, stepping back from the chaos, and tuning in to the voice inside that says, you're made for more. Because the truth is, most people don't fail because they don't have the potential. They fail because their focus is scattered. They're pulled in every direction, trying to please everyone, trying to do everything. And in the process, they lose themselves. But when you start saying no to what distracts you, you start saying yes to what builds you, you regain control, you reclaim your power. And let me tell you, focused energy is rare in this world. But that's what makes it powerful. When you learn to keep your eyes on the prize, even when the world is shouting, even when life gets messy, even when you're tired, that's where transformation happens. And that's when things start breaking loose. Not because life got easier, but because your focus got sharper. You stopped feeding what was draining you and started building what was destined for you. Here's the bottom line. Where your focus goes, your life follows. You can either focus on the fear or the fight, on the pain or the promise, on the setback or the comeback, but you can't focus on both. And whichever one you choose, that's what you give life to. So I'm asking you right now, what's got your focus? What are you feeding every single day? Because if it's not building you, it's breaking you. If it's not lifting you, it's limiting you. You were not put on this earth to live on autopilot. You were born with a mission. And every ounce of your energy is meant to serve that mission. No more wasting focus on people who don't see your worth. No more draining energy on stories that don't define your future. Today is the day you take it back. You aim that focus like a laser and you walk with power, because you now know your focus is your superpower. And when you align it with faith, with fire, and with vision, there is nothing you can't do. Your words are not just sounds you throw into the air, they are seeds. Every time you speak, you plant something. And what you plant, you will eventually harvest. That's why you have to be careful with what comes out of your mouth when you're tired, when you're angry, when you're afraid, when you feel broken. Because words spoken in weakness still carry power. They still echo into your future. Every time you say, I can't, you build a wall. Every time you say, I'm not enough, you chain yourself to limitations that don't belong to you. But when you say, I will rise, something in the atmosphere shifts. When you say, this pain will not define me, you unlock doors that fear tried to shut. Don't speak against your own breakthrough. Don't curse your calling with casual language. You may not see it in the moment, but your words are setting the stage. You're either building bridges toward your destiny or digging holes of defeat. Speak with intention. Speak like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Life and death are in the power of the tongue, and too many people are dying in silence from the words they've buried themselves under. The words you repeat shape your identity. Say something long enough and it becomes your truth, even if it started as a lie. Say, I'm broken for years, and eventually you start living like you're beyond repair. Say, I always mess up, and suddenly mistakes become your normal. That's not a coincidence. That's programming. That's prophecy in disguise. You keep speaking pain over your life and then wonder why peace can't find you. You speak failure into your future and ask why success keeps slipping away. It's not the world cursing you, it's your own voice. But the good news is, just as easily as you built a cage with your words, you can build a kingdom with them. You can start saying, I'm healing. You can start saying, I'm capable. You can start saying, I've been through fire, but I'm still standing. And when those words become your rhythm, your life starts to move to that music. Don't underestimate the power of your declarations. Speak what you want, not what you fear. Speak where you're going, not what you're running from. Your words are like arrows. Aim them with precision, because they always hit something, so make sure they're not hitting you. Some of you have been fighting battles that were never yours. You just inherited them from the words others spoke over you. You'll never make it. You're just like your father. You'll always be a burden. These phrases didn't just bounce off you. They burrowed into your heart. They built strongholds. And if you're not careful, you'll start repeating them, reinforcing the very lies that broke you. But you have the authority to reverse the curse. You can open your mouth and speak life where others spoke death. You can say, that may have been said to me, but it will not define me. You are not what they called you. You are not what they expected of you. You are what you decide with your words today. Don't let inherited negativity become your narrative. Break it. Speak something new. Even if your voice trembles, speak a better story. Even if your hands shake, write a new prophecy with your tongue. You're not powerless. You've just been quiet too long. It's time to rise up and take command of your language. What you say today echoes into your future. You've got to say it like you mean it, because the universe listens, and so does your soul. The atmosphere around you responds to your voice. That's why it's so important to speak like your environment is listening, because it is. If you walk into every room declaring stress, you'll find it. If you keep repeating that nobody understands you, you'll isolate yourself further. You don't need 1,000 affirmations written on your mirror if your mouth is canceling them all day long. What are you declaring daily without realizing it? Are your words adding weight to your shoulders or lifting your spirit? You can either speak your way out of chains or speak yourself into deeper bondage. And it doesn't take a crowd. It starts in the quiet. It starts in the car ride. It starts when you look in the mirror and decide to prophesy peace, strength, purpose, even when your circumstances scream otherwise. Speak in faith, not in fear. Your words should match the future you want, not the past you survived. Stop rehearsing what broke you. Start rehearsing what builds you. Speak healing, speak favor, speak forgiveness, even when it's hard, even when it feels fake, because eventually those words become belief, and belief becomes behavior, and behavior becomes destiny. You don't need permission to start speaking differently about your life. You don't need applause to affirm your shift. All you need is a made-up mind and a committed mouth. You have the power to declare freedom before you feel it. That's what faith is. It's speaking what hasn't shown up yet like it's already yours. It's walking through storms saying this too shall pass. It's staring at lack and declaring abundance. It's looking at your flaws and saying even this is being used for good. Some of the most powerful words you will ever say won't be heard by others. They'll be whispered in the darkness when you feel like giving up. They'll be muttered between tears, shouted in frustration, or whispered in exhaustion. But they'll be your anchor. They'll be your battle cry. And over time, they'll shift your reality. This is why the enemy attacks your voice, because he knows your words are weapons. Don't hand him the sword by speaking defeat. Speak like you're already free. Speak like the mountain is already moving. Speak like your breakthrough has already begun. And eventually your life will rise to meet the level of your language. There's a version of you waiting on the other side of your words. A version with clarity, with courage, with confidence. But you'll never reach that version if you keep speaking from your wounds instead of your wisdom. Pain will always have something to say, but you don't have to give it the microphone. Speak from your healing. Speak from your growth. Speak from your future. Your current struggle doesn't get to narrate your destiny unless you let it. You have the final say. You always have. And if no one else ever spoke life over you, speak it over yourself. Tell yourself, I'm proud of you. Tell yourself you're learning. Tell yourself we're not there yet, but we're getting there. These words are not small. They are sacred. They are seeds, and they will take root in your soul if you say them often enough. Don't wait for life to validate your voice. Use your voice to validate the life you're building. There's more power in your mouth than you've ever been taught. And once you believe that, really believe that, you stop speaking carelessly. You stop wasting words. Because you know deep in your bones that your words are writing your future. You want to change your life? Start by changing what you say about it. Start by catching every lazy word that doesn't match your vision and replacing it with something stronger, something rooted in purpose. Stop saying it's too late. Start saying I'm just getting started. Stop saying I never win. Start saying I'm learning every step of the way. These shifts don't just change your vocabulary, they change your vibration. They shift the way you walk, the way you think, the way you engage with the world. You are a walking prophecy. So prophesy wisely. Don't let sarcasm rob you of sincerity. Don't let bitterness silence your hope. Speak what builds, speak what breathes, speak what brings light. You don't need perfect words, just honest, powerful ones. Say it like your soul needs it. Say it like your future is listening, because it is. And every time you do, you are declaring to yourself, to the world, to God, that you're not done yet, that you still believe, that your story is still being written, and your words are holding the pen. Rejection hurts. Let's not pretend it doesn't. It stings in a way few things do. You put your heart into something, an opportunity, a relationship, a dream, and then suddenly the door slams shut. The email says no. The person says no. Life says not now. And you stand there holding your breath, wondering what's wrong with you. But what if I told you it's not about what's wrong with you? It's about what's right with your path. What if I told you it's about what's right with your path? What if that rejection wasn't punishment but protection? What if that closed door was saving you from something that looked good but wasn't built to last? We often treat rejection like a dead end when it's actually a detour. It's a divine redirection away from what you thought you wanted and toward what you actually need. Sometimes we're so focused on the loss that we miss the lesson. We cry over doors God never intended to stay open. And while you're grieving what didn't happen, life is already building a better route. Don't confuse delay with denial. Don't confuse being overlooked with being unworthy. Sometimes the rejection is the real blessing. It just doesn't feel like it until hindsight hits you in the face years later. When you get rejected, the natural reaction is to question your worth. Was I not good enough? Did I make a mistake? But you must understand, rejection doesn't always speak to your value. Sometimes it speaks to your timing. Sometimes it speaks to your alignment. The opportunity you wanted may not have been ready for you, or maybe you weren't ready for it. And that's okay. Growth often comes not from getting what you want, but from learning how to handle what you didn't. Rejection is the universe saying, hold on, I've got something better in motion. It's not the end of your story. It's a redirection to a more powerful chapter. But here's the key. You can't shut down after a no. You can't let one closed door convince you that every door is locked. Get back up. Knock again. Try again. If the path ahead shifts, that doesn't mean it's broken. It just means it's being customized. And sometimes what feels like rejection is simply the exit ramp to your real calling. You may not see it now, but trust me, there's purpose in the pivot. There's wisdom in the wait. And there's beauty in being rerouted to the place you truly belong. Rejection doesn't just show up in the obvious moments. It sneaks into friendships that fade, job interviews that ghost you, lovers who walk away, dreams that collapse after years of work. And the temptation is always the same: to take it personal, to internalize it, to carry it like a wound instead of a sign. But rejection isn't always a verdict on you. It's often a mirror showing you who and what no longer fits your future. It's uncomfortable. It's confusing, but it's not final. That no you heard may have prevented a deeper heartbreak down the road. That we're moving in a different direction might have been the hand of grace steering you towards something higher, something truer. Some people were never meant to walk your full journey, and some opportunities were never meant to be permanent homes. They were stepping stones. Don't cling to things that aren't rooted in your destiny. Let go when it's time. Trust the removal. Trust the redirection. It's not just about where you're being moved away from. It's about what you're being moved toward. And sometimes you won't see the full picture until years later when you look back and realize that rejection was the turning point that changed everything. Sometimes the rejection is there to build resilience. Because truthfully, most people don't learn grit from comfort. They learn it from being told no and showing up anyway. They learn it from not getting the job and then building their own business. They learn it from being left behind and then walking forward stronger and wiser. Rejection is a trainer in disguise. It teaches you how to get up without applause, how to keep showing up when nobody's watching, how to stand in your worth even when others don't validate it. Some of your most important growth will come from the doors that closed, not the ones that opened. Every no has the potential to shape your character, sharpen your focus, and strengthen your resolve, but only if you let it. Only if you stop seeing rejection as proof you're failing and start seeing it as preparation for what's coming. Your destiny is not controlled by other people's opinions or decisions. It's shaped by your response. Will you quit? Will you shrink? Or will you rise with fire in your belly and determination in your spirit? You have a choice. And the moment you stop fearing rejection, you start owning your redirection. You were never meant to stay in places that can't hold the weight of your purpose. So when rejection shows up, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, where is this taking me? That shift in mindset will change your life. Because now you're not sitting in self-pity. You're stepping into strategy. You're not waiting for approval. You're walking in alignment. Rejection can be brutal, but it can also be clarifying. It peels back the distractions. It forces you to evaluate what truly matters. And it often leads you to discover passions, strengths, and opportunities you never would have explored if everything had gone your way. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in life are born out of detours. You just have to stop fighting the flow and start following the pull. The road might not look like what you expected, but that doesn't mean it's the wrong road. Trust that there's a bigger map than what you can see. Sometimes God has to remove what's familiar so he can reveal what's foundational. And yes, it'll be uncomfortable, but it will be worth it. Because redirection, while painful in the moment, always protects your purpose when you learn to surrender. Let's get honest. Sometimes the redirection doesn't feel better right away. Sometimes you cry yourself to sleep, wondering why it had to fall apart. Sometimes you feel forgotten, overlooked, discarded. And that's okay. It's okay to feel it. It's okay to grieve the thing that didn't work out, but don't stay in that space too long. Don't camp in disappointment. Use those emotions as fuel. Use that hurt as wisdom. The heartbreak didn't come to destroy you, it came to wake you up, to teach you discernment, to show you that even when the plan breaks, your purpose doesn't. Even when people walk away, your value remains. Rejection might strip you, but it also refines you. And once you walk through that fire and come out still standing, you'll realize you didn't need what you thought you did. You didn't need that validation. You didn't need that position. You didn't need that person to understand you. What you needed was the redirection to something deeper, something more powerful, something real. So when life says no, don't assume you've lost. Sometimes you've just been set free to chase the yes that was always meant for you. The beauty of redirection is that it always leads you closer to your true self, if you follow it. You stop chasing what looks good to the world and start choosing what feels right in your soul. You stop begging for doors to open and start building your own. You stop seeking acceptance from people who never saw your value, and you start loving yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. The truth is, rejection peels off the layers you don't need, the masks, the performance, the false expectations, and what you're left with is the real you, the resilient, unshakable, battle-tested you. That version doesn't need approval to keep going. That version walks in purpose even if the road is quiet. That version understands that every no wasn't a failure, it was a filter, removing what wasn't meant to go with you into the next season. You're not here by accident. Every detour, every delay, every heartbreak, it's all been shaping you. So don't resent the rejection. Respect it. Because it didn't stop you. It redirected you. And sometimes that's the greatest miracle of all. Sometimes life doesn't make sense. Sometimes everything around you looks like it's falling apart. The bills are piling up. The relationships are breaking down. The doors are closing one after another. And all your plans seem like they've hit a dead end. And in that moment, your eyes will lie to you. Your vision will scream, this is over. But faith whispers something else. Faith tells you to keep going, even when nothing is going right. Faith tells you to trust the path, even when the road is invisible. Walking by sight means you only move when things look clear, when the outcome is guaranteed. But walking by faith means you move when God says move, even if you don't know what's on the other side. It means you plant seeds in the dark, believing the light will come. It means you keep showing up, even when you feel forgotten. It means you keep building, even when you feel broken. When you walk by faith, you're not led by what you see. You're led by what you believe. You're led by a deeper knowing, a fire inside your spirit that says, I don't have to see it to believe it. I believe it, so I will see it. You've got to understand that walking by faith doesn't always feel good. It doesn't come with comfort. It comes with conviction. It doesn't come with guarantees. It comes with grit. Faith is not soft. It's not passive. Faith is bold. It's gritty. It's relentless. It's standing in the middle of chaos and saying, I still believe. It's watching everything you built collapse and declaring, I will rise again. Sight shows you the mountain, faith moves it. Sight shows you the storm, faith walks on the water. If you wait until the conditions are perfect, you'll never start. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll always hesitate. But faith says, start where you are, move anyway, believe anyway, trust anyway. You don't need all the answers to take the first step. You just need the courage to trust the one who does. You may not see the full picture now, but God sees it. He's already been to your tomorrow. He's writing a story so much bigger than your pain, so much greater than your confusion. So don't be discouraged by what you see. Walk by faith. That's where the miracles live, not in certainty, but in surrender. When you walk by faith, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because faith doesn't offer a map, it offers a mission. It doesn't always come with clarity, but it always comes with calling. Faith is waking up each morning, not knowing what the day will bring, but still moving forward with the confidence that you are being guided. Faith is trusting that closed doors are divine protection, not punishment. Faith is letting go of what you thought it had to look like and embracing what it's meant to become. When you walk by sight, you only move when you can see the staircase. But when you walk by faith, you take the step even when there's nothing but air beneath your feet. You step because you trust that God is either going to catch you or teach you to fly. You have to let your belief be bigger than your fear. The world may doubt you. People may walk away. Your own mind may question you. But faith stands firm. Faith says, even in the darkness, I believe there's light. Because when you walk by faith, you're not walking alone. You're walking with purpose. You're walking with power. You're walking with the hand of God leading you every step of the way. It's easy to have faith when everything is going right. When the job is secure, the people support you, the future looks bright. That kind of faith is comfortable. But real faith shows up in the valley. Real faith stands tall when the ground beneath you is shaking. Real faith shows up when all the evidence says give up and something in your soul says keep going. That's the kind of faith that transforms you. That's the kind of faith that builds a legacy. You may not see the reason for the rejection, but faith tells you there's redirection. You may not understand the delay, but faith tells you it's divine preparation. And when you live like that, when you decide to walk by faith, you begin to see that nothing in your life is wasted. Every setback is a setup. Every loss carries a lesson. Every moment you thought was breaking you was actually building you. Sight will tell you it's impossible. Faith will remind you that with God, all things are possible. So when life gets hard, don't lower your expectations, elevate your faith. Don't trust the circumstance, trust the Creator. Because even when you can't see the way, faith will carry you through the fire and into your destiny. Walking by faith requires spiritual vision, not physical sight, but soul sight. The kind of vision that allows you to see beyond your current circumstance and into your greater calling. The kind of vision that reminds you that storms don't last forever and the darkness is not the end, it's just the beginning of a greater dawn. When you walk by sight, you let your environment determine your energy. But when you walk by faith, your energy shapes your environment. You begin to speak life over dead situations. You begin to carry peace even in the middle of chaos because you know who's walking with you. You know who's fighting for you. You know who's writing the story. Faith gives you an inner confidence, not arrogance, but assurance. Assurance that even if today looks uncertain, tomorrow is already handled. You may not feel strong enough. You may not feel ready, but faith says you are chosen, you are equipped, you are exactly where you need to be for something greater to be birthed through you. So don't rely on what you see, rely on what you know, because faith sees possibilities where the world only sees problems. Faith opens doors your eyes can't even find. You've got to remember that walking by faith is not about perfection, it's about perseverance. It's not about having all the answers. It's about having the heart to keep asking, to keep moving, to keep trusting. Faith doesn't make you invincible, but it does make you unstoppable, because when you're walking in faith, you no longer depend on motivation. You move from conviction. You no longer chase outcomes. You follow obedience. And sometimes that obedience will make no sense to the world. People will question you. They'll doubt your choices. They'll laugh at your dreams, but that's okay. They didn't hear what God whispered to your heart. They didn't see the vision he gave you. Your faith isn't for them. It's for you. It's your anchor. It's your armor. It's your compass. And when you live by that compass, nothing can break you. Not failure, not fear, not even the unknown. You become a force that doesn't bow to circumstance. You become a light in the darkness. Not because life is easy, but because you know where your strength comes from. You're not walking by sight anymore. You're walking by faith. And that makes you unstoppable. Faith doesn't mean the journey will be easy, but it does mean it will be worth it. Every step, every struggle, every silent night you walk through was leading you somewhere divine. You may not have seen it yet. You may still be waiting, but don't stop moving. Don't stop believing. Don't let what you see blind you to what's coming. Some of the greatest breakthroughs happen right after the point where most people quit. You've come too far to turn back now. You've prayed too hard to give up now. This is the season where faith has to speak louder than fear, where your vision has to come from within, not from what's around you. It's in these moments, these hard, uncertain, overwhelming moments, that your faith is being forged like gold in fire. And when you come through it, you'll look back and realize the journey wasn't just about reaching the destination. It was about who you became along the way. So don't walk by sight. Don't walk by fear. Don't walk by comfort. Walk by faith every single step. Every single day, even when it's dark, especially when it's dark, because that's when faith shines the brightest. The truth is, life doesn't reward hesitation. It doesn't move for people who play it safe. It doesn't bend for the ones who tiptoe around their dreams, waiting for permission. The universe moves for the bold. It answers the call of the courageous. The moment you stop shrinking yourself to fit into places you've outgrown, the moment you stop whispering your dreams and start declaring them with power, that's the moment everything begins to shift. The bold don't need to see the full staircase to take the first step. They don't need all the answers before they move. They move with faith, they speak with authority, and they act with conviction. You have to stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And start asking, what if it does? Because boldness is magnetic. Boldness sends a signal to life itself that you are ready, that you're not waiting anymore. And when life sees you ready, when the universe senses you standing in your truth, doors begin to open. People begin to show up. The right opportunities start aligning. Not because of luck, not because of chance, but because boldness is the language of breakthroughs. And the universe listens when you speak it fluently. There's a difference between wanting something and being bold enough to go after it. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants love, freedom, purpose, and peace. But few are willing to risk the comfort of where they are for the power of where they could be. Boldness is stepping out when everyone else is standing still. It's raising your voice when silence feels safer. It's starting the business, ending the toxic relationship, making the call, saying the truth without waiting for the perfect moment. Because the perfect moment doesn't exist. Boldness creates the moment. It demands progress. It ignites momentum. And it shakes things loose that hesitation never could. Every bold decision is like a key turning a lock. Things start unlocking around you, not just externally, but within you. Confidence grows, belief multiplies, and suddenly what once felt impossible becomes inevitable. You weren't born to tiptoe through life. You weren't created to dim your light so others can feel comfortable. You were made to shine. You were made to move. And the moment you embrace your boldness, life will begin to respond in ways you never imagined. Not because everything is easy, but because you finally stop playing small. Boldness doesn't mean being reckless. It doesn't mean charging ahead blindly. It means moving with intention. It means stepping forward with your heart aligned and your mind awake. Being bold doesn't mean you're fearless. It means you feel the fear and still move. Boldness doesn't ignore doubt. It simply refuses to be ruled by it. Every bold action is a declaration to the universe. I trust that I'm being guided. And in that trust, there's power. In that trust, doors swing open that were once bolted shut. Boldness is often uncomfortable because it breaks patterns. It disrupts cycles. It removes you from familiar pain and thrusts you into unfamiliar potential. That's why it's so difficult. Because it demands growth. It requires you to walk into rooms you don't feel ready for. Speak on stages you've only dreamed about. And carry yourself like you belong, even when the world tells you to sit down. But the universe doesn't respond to the ones who wait to be chosen. It responds to the ones who choose themselves, who say, I'm not backing down. I'm not waiting to be saved. I'm stepping up. I'm speaking out, and I'm moving now. That's when the miracles start. You don't get extraordinary results with ordinary actions. You can't whisper your way into a thunderstorm. If you want to shake the ground beneath you, you have to roar from your soul. The universe hears boldness because boldness is energy. It vibrates differently. It carries the frequency of creation. And creation doesn't happen in silence. It happens in motion. So many people are waiting for a sign, waiting for confirmation, waiting for someone to tell them it's okay to go after what they know they were born for. But boldness doesn't wait for signs. It is the sign. It's the green light you give yourself. It's the permission slip you write with your own hands. And once you give yourself that power, once you say, I belong at the table, and if there isn't a seat, I'll build my own, the universe responds. People take notice. Resources flow. Connections are made. All because you dared to walk in your truth without apology. Playing small won't protect you. It won't save you. It'll only drain you. But boldness will elevate you. It'll stretch you. It'll position you. And eventually, it'll crown you with the very life you've been praying for. Some people will call you crazy. Some will say you're too much, too intense, too ambitious. But those voices are background noise compared to the voice inside of you that says, keep going. Boldness is not about pleasing the world. It's about honoring your soul. And when you start moving in alignment with who you truly are, when you start saying yes to the things that light a fire in you and no to everything that dims your flame, that's when you become unstoppable. Because now you're no longer living to survive, you're living to thrive. You're no longer reacting to life, you're creating it. And creation takes courage. It takes resilience. It takes the kind of boldness that keeps showing up after failure, that keeps believing after disappointment, that keeps pushing when no one is clapping. The universe doesn't respond to passivity. It responds to passion. It responds to purpose. And it responds to those who aren't afraid to say, this is who I am. And this is what I'm here to do. So let the world call you crazy. Let them call you intense. Because boldness always looks like madness to the ones still hiding in fear. Understand this. Your life will only rise to the level of your boldness. If you speak timid dreams, you'll live a timid life. If you ask for scraps, you'll get crumbs. But when you ask boldly, when you speak boldly, when you live boldly, life starts handing you more. Not because it suddenly changed, but because you changed. You stopped begging and started commanding. You stopped settling and started soaring. That shift doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you stop playing by rules that were never written for you. When you stop shrinking to fit expectations and start expanding to meet your purpose. Boldness doesn't guarantee the absence of obstacles, but it does guarantee the strength to overcome them. Because when you're bold, you don't crumble at the first no. You don't retreat at the first rejection. You rise. You adapt. You come back louder, clearer, stronger. The universe watches how you move. And when it sees that you're serious, when it sees you're committed, when it sees you're relentless, it will conspire to meet you at your level. So raise your level, raise your standards, raise your voice. Because boldness is the currency of transformation. And finally, know this, the bold live differently. They speak differently. They walk into rooms like they've already won. They don't wait for validation. They carry it. They don't ask for favors. They bring value. They don't let fear be the final word. They let faith be the first step. Every single day you have a choice. Live in fear or lead with boldness. You weren't given this fire for nothing. You weren't gifted these dreams just to bury them beneath doubt. You were meant to act, to speak, to break generational curses, to build something eternal. And none of that will happen if you keep holding back. The universe is waiting to match your energy, but it can only rise to meet you if you rise to meet it. So stop delaying. Stop doubting. Stop dimming. Be bold in your vision. Be bold in your decisions. Be bold in your faith. This world doesn't need more people hiding their light. It needs warriors of purpose who dare to burn bright. So ignite, move, speak, roar, because the universe isn't just watching, it's waiting for you to show up. My friend, if there's one thing I want you to take away from everything we've walked through together, it's this. The world does not respond to fear, hesitation, or smallness. It responds to energy. It responds to clarity. It responds to boldness. When you walk with certainty, even before the road is clear, when you speak with conviction, even before the room listens, when you move forward, even while trembling, that's when something divine begins to happen. That's when you begin to create momentum that cannot be stopped. You start realizing that rejection is not your enemy, it's your redirection. You start understanding that your words are not random, they're powerful seeds shaping your future. You begin to see that what you focus on becomes your reality. And when you choose faith over sight, confidence over doubt, and movement over stillness, you activate a version of yourself that can no longer be ignored. You weren't made to hide. You weren't made to second guess your worth or ask for permission to live out your calling. You were made to roar, to rise, and to take up space unapologetically. Life will not open its doors to the timid knock. It opens to the one who pounds with purpose, with passion, with fire. Let your belief be louder than your fear. Let your faith carry you where logic says you don't belong. Let your energy flow in the direction of your purpose, not your past. This is your time to speak boldly, walk boldly, live boldly, because the universe is not ignoring you. It's waiting for you to show up as the person you were always meant to be. Your courage is the key. Your voice is the spark, and your boldness is the answer. So go now and step into every moment like it was designed for you. Move like your breakthrough is on the other side of action. Speak like your future is listening, because it is. You were not meant to survive this life. You were meant to shake it, make noise, make impact, and above all, make your presence undeniable. Thank you for giving me your time, your focus, and your heart. May your steps be firm, your words be powerful, and your purpose shine bright. God bless you. Stay strong and keep moving forward.